Waco, Texas, May 17, 2015, a seemingly ordinary Sunday. Families gather for lunch. The aroma of fried food fills the air at a Twin Peaks restaurant. But by nightfall, 9 men will be dead, all victims of police gunfire. And the narrative will be crafted before the blood even dries. Twin Peaks wasn't a random choice. Law enforcement was well aware that rival motorcycle clubs were set to meet there. Tensions were high and violence was a real possibility. Instead of intervening, they let it unfold. They were prepared. Undercover officers mingled inside. Snipers took positions outside. Patrol units stood ready. This wasn't about crowd control. It felt like they were waiting for something to ignite. Inside, bikers were eating, drinking, and exchanging words. This was typical biker culture. Words were weapons, and for a while it was just that. No gunfire, no chaos. But then, police moved in, confronting the bikers aggressively. Tensions escalated, voices rose, and hands inched toward weapons. This was the moment where calm could have prevailed, but instead, it erupted. Gunfire rang out. Authorities quickly claimed the bikers had turned on each other, igniting a gang war. But the evidence told a different story. Ballistics revealed that every fatal shot came from law enforcement. 9 dead, none from rival bikers. Witnesses reported that the first shots were fired by police outside, not from within the restaurant. The parking lot transformed into a battlefield. Gunfire echoed, bullets ripped through cars and storefronts. Police unleashed a torrent of firepower. This was no mere skirmish. It was a tactical assault. When the smoke cleared, the grim reality emerged. 9 bikers lay dead, all from police bullets, while not a single officer was killed or seriously injured. If this was a biker shootout, why did only one side perish? Then came the crackdown. Over 170 arrests were made, many of whom never fired a weapon. All were charged under identical affidavits, a clear sign of damage control. Prosecutors pushed sweeping RICO charges, framing the scene as organized crime. But the cases crumbled. Evidence was scant, witnesses vanished, and crucial video footage was lost or sealed. Years passed. Charges were dropped, trials never materialized, and the RICO case faded away. Not due to proven innocence, but because the evidence couldn't withstand scrutiny. Yet no officer faced charges, no commander was questioned, and no planning decisions were scrutinized. 9 men were buried, and the system moved on. Questions lingered. Why were rival clubs allowed to gather? Why were police armed for lethal force before violence erupted? Why did snipers have clear shots before the first punch? And the most haunting question of all, if police were there to prevent bloodshed, why was bloodshed the only outcome? The term biker gang shootout became entrenched, absolving responsibility and turning the dead into villains. If it was chaos, no one was accountable. But if it was escalation, if it was provocation, then Waco wasn't just a tragedy. It was a failure by design. In just 5 minutes, 9 lives were lost, and no jury ever heard their story. The question remains buried beneath layers of paperwork. Did law enforcement enter Twin Peaks to stop violence, or did they walk in expecting it? Because sometimes the first shot isn't fired by a club member. Sometimes it's fired by the badge,